guys, so I wanted to do a little quick tutorial about how to do just an easy kind of like modern skull look. I wanted it to be if Courtney Love were dead and Wednesday Addams. So hope you guys like this. It's very easy. We're gonna start with eyes first, and I already did one side of my face because I think that makes it a little bit easier because I'm kind of a talker. So as opposed to starting there, I'm going to be taking all my Anastasia palettes. Everything that I use is going to be linked down below, so be sure to check that out. But the first color I'm going to be using is Fawn, and we're just going to go right into the crease, and you don't need to worry how precise it is because we don't want it precise. This is Halloween, for crying out loud. So just keep going around the crease and then just start building up underneath. And this right here we'll probably go back and correct a few times, and then just make sure to drag it out just a wee bit. And again, that's Fawn by Anastasia. Now we're going to use another Anastasia, and this is Hot Chocolate. And we're going to go a little bit deeper in the crease. So all we're doing is getting a really nice like brownish black base. And little tiny windshield wiper motions. And I think the best part about Halloween is that it can be as messy as you want it to be because it's not supposed to be perfect. So y'all that aren't that precise, this is your day. Okay, so bring that underneath. And if you notice, I'm using a fluffy brush because again, we don't want it to be really precise, and we're just gonna extend it out just so that way it gives it a little bit more of that kind of like almondy shape. Okay, now I'm telling you, this is like the easiest eye ever. It's like the best smoky eye. Now we're gonna be using Noir by Anastasia, and now we're just gonna go on the lid, and I'm using a smaller brush, and all the brushes that I use will also be linked. And if you're not comfortable doing the bottom part, just do the top. It still will give it the same effect once you get on the rest of your face. Okay, so go all the way around, so pretty smoky. And then we're gonna go right up under the lash line and just really like back and forth, and always get that little end part because everybody always forgets it. Okay, now we're gonna go back with a little bit of a smaller brush, and we're gonna be using the color Smoke. And this is gonna go actually in the crease, so that way we're buffing that black and that hot chocolate together, so that way it's not that much of a difference. Okay. And eyes are something that after, as you can tell, like after I do this side of my face, I kind of come back to, just so that way we can really smoke it out and exaggerate it. See, that was the easiest smoky eye ever. 3 products, boom, done. But to make it a little bit more intense, I am going to use a Samita eyeliner, and this is their Kohl, and we're going to line the waterline. So those of you that don't know what a waterline is, it is the inside of your eye. And I always like to hold my mirror down. I think it's the easiest. And we're going to go a little bit into the lash line. So that way we are making it completely pitch black. Do the top, and a lot of people always ask like, how do you do the top? Hold the mirror down a little bit more and look down into it. It makes it a lot easier. And then after you get this on, just do the top part. And again, doesn't have to be perfect. Make it smudgy. We're only doing this to create a little bit of a darker base, and that is it. And I'm just filling in any little white spots. So after you do that, and this is a great eyeliner for every day, just FYI, we're gonna take the same brush, and this is a Sigma Domed Utility, and we're gonna dab it in the black eyeshadow by Anastasia, and we're just gonna tap on top of what we just did. So the reason you wanna do that and layering it is because it gives you a really, really intense pitch black, which is great for this look. Okay, and I'm just gonna buff it out with the same brush that I use smoke with, which is the Morphe M33. Wait, no, sorry, M330. Okay, so now we're just gonna finish up the eyes by applying eyelashes. I know I normally do eyelashes last, but I'm just gonna do them first this time. And if you guys even wanna know, I have not been able to find my glue. It is so bad. I don't know what happened to it. I'm determined my dogs decided to be glamazons and put it on, so I'm insanely in need of buying new glue. I need to go out today and get some. But I am using Duo, and I'm just coating the lash with it. And my lashes of choice are Flutter lashes. If you want something a little bit cheaper, the Red Cherry are absolutely amazing. They just don't last as long, so these are like, I think $25, but at the same time they last 25 times. So if you look at it that way, it's $1 a wear. Okay, then I'm just gonna take my tweezers, put it on the eye, and whenever Halloween is past, I'm gonna do a tutorial on just eyelashes, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And once you pretty much have it on there, I'm now just gonna take some mascara and go on my lower lash line. I'm gonna let my uppers dry just for a little bit, but I'm just gonna go ahead and finish out pretty much everything on my eye. Okay, so super easy, super fast. Guys, maybe I'm just better at Halloween makeup, I don't know. I'm a lot faster at it, that's for sure. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take, I like to use Bioderma whenever I'm like playing with makeup and, you know, on set and taking it off people. I just think it gives a really, really non-oily finish, which is key. So we're gonna just wipe all the excess off because we are gonna start with our foundation. And don't worry, your line right now is gonna be a little bit sharp because we're taking it off. But like I said, don't worry about it because we are gonna go back with the shadow and smudge it out. So it's a little sharp, it's totally fine. We're gonna get there. Just try to get off like most of the black. And it might take you a couple of Q-tips. Okay, so for foundation, I'm using Frankie Rose in the color Angel today. Okay, put it on your beauty blender and start dabbing away. With this look, I wanted to do more of like a skin color as opposed to a white. If you do want to do more of like a white for Halloween, then use Bid Nye. I like the products for face paint. That's what we're going to use with our black, but I just like more skin color. I think it gives a little bit more of like a glamorous look. If a skeleton can be glamorous at all, that's what this does. And then just buff it up on the forehead. And always bring it underneath your chin. Even if it's Halloween, we don't need any lines of demarcation because that would scare people worse than the biggest, scariest face ever. For concealer, because we are going to do a little concealer just to highlight and brighten, I'm going to use the Bye Bye Under Eye by Cosmetics. And I'm using the illuminating one just because I want as much illumination as humanly possible. So I'm still going in the same areas, around the nose, up through the eye, right there in the middle of the forehead. By the way, I just totally scared my husband downstairs. It was awesome. It's really, I love Halloween just for that sheer reason. And then I'm just going back over it and dabbing it with a beauty blender. Dab, 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 dab. A lot of people ask, like, why do you dab as opposed to rub? If you rub, all the hard work that you're putting into your face, you're just gonna rub right off. So, no point in that. Okay, so as soon as you get that wherever you want it to be, as much coverage, realistically you don't need that much because we're going to go over and make it not so pretty here in a second. So the next, for setting powder today, I'm just going to use the Kogan Dough. And I like this one, especially again for today, because it gives like a little bit more of a shimmer. It has natural little like mica in it, so it gives you a nice like shimmery type look. And now we're just gonna dab everything over with the setting powder. Ooh, Halloween. Oh. Get real creepy up in here. Okay, so as soon as you do that, we're just gonna go to brows. It's easy, we'll get them out of the way before we start doing any of that crazy stuff. And I'm gonna use you don't want to see the ingredients. Anastasia's brow powder in soft brown. So I'm not changing up what I normally do. I am using a powder just so that way it's a little bit more undone. And whenever I'm doing it, I'm just lightly dabbing and going like on the top, and then whenever I get over to my ends, I'm just buffing out just a little bit to the side. So that way it looks more hairy. It gives it a little bit more of a natural Cara Delevingne look. And let's just be honest, I don't know what girl does not want brows like Cara. Like, she is incredible. Okay. So as soon as we get the brows on, that's done. Everything is just so fast. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take, oh, where did it go? Where did it go? My little pencil. Oh, okay. So we're gonna take that hot chocolate color and start dragging this line down through here. And I'm mixing it with a little bit of smoke. And I'm just creating this nice line so that way it's just kind of gonna frame the brows. And realistically, because I did one side first and I never really do that, I am gonna have to go back and kind of tweak the other side just so that way it's not completely different. Okay, and then right here in your brow, you are gonna bring that down just a little bit too. Now we're gonna go back with another pencil brush. Where are you? And we're gonna use the color Fawn. So that way it's a little bit lighter and we can buff out everything that we just did. So that way nothing really harsh. And buff all the way down into the nose. Really get in like to this little inner corner of your eye because you want that to be nice and dark. Okay, so now how I was telling you, realistically you're gonna have to go back underneath here and start to kind of play with it. Take Fawn to start out with and just start buffing a little bit underneath. Okay, and then I'm going to take another color. I'm going to do Birkin, which, as you guys know, Birkin is like the best color in the world. And I'm highly obsessed with Birkin. I think it's like the most beautiful, wonderful color ever. And I'm just going to go a little bit underneath, and again, make sure both eyes are even. So I'm just taking a fluffy brush and really going underneath. And then we're going to take the pencil brush, go back with a little bit of the hot chocolate. And how you see I did it on this side, I just kind of like buffed it out just a little bit. And then I took a contour brush and really, really, really like worked it in right there. And my husband's doing work downstairs, so you guys might hear him. Yikes. Okay, so just keep buffing that in. And then we're gonna actually take hot chocolate with the contour and start doing the hairline. So this is something that you really, really have to buff. Like, I mean, because it's shadow, it's not meant to be a contour. So when I tell you like this one, I probably went back and forth like 15 times of just like buffing, and you'll see me do it now. Like, it just takes a little bit of time, but once you get it, you are totally fine. So just keep buffing, and then boom, there it is. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to a little bit of the black. Now this is where it gets like a little, not tricky, but a little bit more, like, can't think of the words. I'm not using my words right now. A little bit more intricate. So I'm taking just a very, very, very small angle brush. And the way that I started this side was I just drew a line where my natural contour would be. Okay, so started right there. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, so we're gonna go back and like fix it in just a little bit. So take an angled brush with black powder and start going over that. And this makeup look is really good for girls that don't want to go out and spend a lot of money on Halloween makeup because you're never going to use it. This is stuff that you can use year-round, so that way you're getting your money's worth. And realistically, you probably already have this in your makeup kit. It's just how it goes. So now we're gonna take a little bit of a fluffier brush. We're gonna use smoke and hot chocolate, and we're just gonna start buffing this in to make it a little bit smudgier. And then I just start bringing it down, as you can tell. So I'm just using it in a little down motion all the way. And then I go back with Fawn, so that way it's a little bit lighter. And I start buffing that down with Fawn. So that way it in person is just like a very slow transition. Okay, and once you get that, you're gonna take your contour brush that we did, and you're just gonna lightly go over it. And then like I did on this side, like I barely did anything. I just took the leftover shadow and just kind of buffed it in like that. Yep, and that is all. Okay, so just buff through there. Okay, and then the only thing I I just get very picky with little final touches. So I am just gonna kind of extend this part of the eye and make it a little bit darker because it needs to be just a little bit. And whenever like you're doing it yourself, you'll probably go back and be like, oh wait, I need to change this, I need to change that as you go, because stuff starts, once it like starts getting done, you start to see little things like to fix it and to make certain things a little bit more accurate. So I just needed a little bit more through there, and I'm just buffing these up a little bit more. Okay, now we're gonna go around the nose, and this already has hot chocolate on it, so just using a tiny, tiny, tiny bit more. And again, this is just like contour, so all you girls that like contour, this is just contour the skeleton way. Okay, and then I'm just buffing it in with like a clean brush. And actually, we need more black. We need more black underneath this eye. Okay. Yeah, so whenever I looked up close, I noticed this side needed just a smidge more black, and that's totally fine, just add it. Okay, and I know I'm gonna get made fun of because of how I purse my lips whenever I do videos, but you little assholes, it's a habit. It's like old habits died hard. It's 100% of a habit of mine. Just like you guys, whenever you do mascara, look like this. It's a habit. Deal with it. So no, my lips are not made of cement. Some of them are made of Juvederm, but whatever. Assholes. Just kidding. Okay, so now I am going to use the Ben Nye, and this is the Magic Cake Aqua Paint. And I like this because you can wet it just with your brush. And I'm just going to make this line a little bit more precise. I'm just making that line a little bit more precise. And then I'm going to do my nose. And I tried to do like, to save 1/2 of the nose for you guys, and that was actually really difficult. So this is something that I'm going to be going back over. But this Ben Nye, I feel like it lasts a lot longer than most other products. Like Kryolan does too. So I don't know if you guys are familiar. And this stuff is cheap. I think it's like $6. So it's not like it's gonna break your bank. But if you are just like a last minute going out to a party, don't want to buy anything, just use black eyeliner, but make sure it's waterproof. And then a very nice setting spray. So if you guys can tell what I'm doing, I'm leaving a little bit of white in the middle. Is crooked. Not my paint job, but literally my actual nose. Anyway, can't do anything about that. But I'll just finish filling in my crooked nose that it took a Halloween costume idea to me to figure out. I actually thought I had a good nose. This is so sad. Okay. And then I'm just drawing a little bit out. So now I'm going to take that chocolate brown color, that hot chocolate, we've been using a lot of that today. And I'm just gonna go over here where the lip is right there, so that way it gives a very nice little look. And you are gonna smudge in that black. And just keep putting a little bit of the hot chocolate until you feel like it's blended enough. And I like everything to be pretty blended, so I'm probably doing a little bit more than y'all will do. But you should blend. Okay. So now for like some fun dots, and I like to call them fun dots because that's exactly what they are. We're just going to do 3 little circles. One, and I'm just doing little tiny circles, dipping it in water. And you can make them as black or as circular or large, even like, you know, try different shapes. And before I do the cheeks, I'm gonna dip an angled brush in the hot chocolate and go over top of it right here. So that way it just doesn't go from black to my skin, it actually goes to like a brown to my skin. And this side needs just a little bit. Okay. So before we do that, I also, because y'all know I love to shine, so I'm going to be using the Pearl Poured, and I'm just going to be dabbing it right now, right along that cheekbone. And a little bit underneath the eye. And then y'all already know I'm already on my lips, because I don't think there's been a time that I don't put shimmer on my lips. But I mean, look, it's so much prettier. And then we're going to do a little bit of extra shine right here. I'm calling it shine, and then you guys are never going to use highlighter again. But I love to glow. Okay, so now we're just going to do a little bit of those circles and hearts before we move on to the final thing, which is the mouth. I'm going to tell you guys what I put in my hair too. Okay, so 1 dot, 2. So I did a little bit more on this side. We are gonna start on the mouth. And I love doing the mouth because like, it's just easy. You just literally draw lines. A lot of people make it too hard. If you mess up, just start all over, you're fine. I did use my favorite Vanilla Suede as a base to start out with. I love Vanilla Suede. I wish it wasn't discontinued, it's so sad. And then I just blotted it with powder. Okay, so after you blot with powder, you're just going to take your angled brush, dip it in the black, and then just start, I like to start from the outer corner of my mouth and connect that. And now just start drawing lines wherever you want to. After you finish that, you are all done. And what I did, because I feel like, you know, with this look, like you kind of want to be a little bit of like a rock star, like a glam rocker, at least I did. Like I said, I wanted to be Courtney Love. So what I did is, she always wore those cute little tiaras. So what I did, this one, and everything that I have on is going to be linked down below, but this says Trick, and it's just a little gold headband, and it's so cute. And what I did to get the volume that I have and a little bit more grit is I used Surf Comber by Oribe. Now this stuff only takes that much because it is so sticky, and I'm pre-warning, it is very sticky, but when I tell you your hair will hold and be that like nice gritty type texture, it will. But I don't want to hear anybody say like, oh my god, my hair was so stiff, because it does, it makes it stiff. And then a good way when you do that is just kind of rub your fingers in it like that, and then you are all good as soon as I get this done. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you currently don't follow me on Instagram, follow me. I'm Jess Southern, and this is my channel, and I hope you guys subscribe. Mwah.